The massive Imperial scout fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their black and gold ships gleaming against the starlit void. Admiral Stone of the mighty Galactic Empire stood proud on his command bridge, his chest puffed out as he observed 3 unknown vessels floating lazily ahead. Unidentified ships. This is Admiral Stone of the Galactic Empire's 7th Scout Fleet. You have entered Imperial space. Prepare to submit to our authority or face immediate destruction, he announced, his voice carrying the weight of 10,000 conquered worlds. The response was not what he expected. Hey there. Nice ships you've got. Trying to compensate for something with all that gold trim. A cheerful voice crackled through the communication system. The Imperial bridge crew exchanged confused looks. Stone's face turned red. This is your final warning. We are the mighty Galactic Empire. Rulers off. Oh, hang on. Another human voice cut in. Let me get my camera. Tony, you've got to see this. Their ships look like they were designed by a teenager who just discovered black paint and glitter. The Admiral's jaw dropped as laughter echoed through the command channel. His second-in-command, Captain Reed, frantically analyzed the 3 human ships. They looked almost primitive at first glance. Simple cylinders with rounded edges, painted in white and blue. But the sensor readings made no sense. Admiral, Reed whispered, they're ships. They're operating on technology we've never seen before. The energy readings are off the charts, but I can't even locate their power source. The largest human ship, which had Dave's Space RV painted on its side in bright letters, slowly rotated until its front viewport faced the Imperial fleet. Through it, they could see several humans in what appeared to be casual clothing, some holding cups of coffee, waving cheerfully. Look, the first human voice said, we know you're trying to do the whole scary space empire thing, but has anyone ever told you those speeches need some work? Here, we rated your threat level. A hologram appeared in front of the Imperial fleet showing a scorecard. Presentation. 6/10, scariness. 3/10, originality. 2/10. Stone slammed his fist on his command console. How dare you mock the Empire? Our fleet has destroyed civilizations for lesser insults. Oh, that's a bit better. Another human chimed in. Someone record that one for our collection of top 10 dramatic space villain quotes. Though I think the fist slam was a bit much. Maybe try a dramatic cape swish next time. The Admiral ordered his weapons officers to target the human ships, but before they could lock on, the sensors went haywire. The human vessels were somehow in 3 places at once, then nowhere, then seemingly inside out, all while maintaining their casual position. Sir, Reed reported, his voice shaking, their technology. It's like they're playing with the fabric of space itself, and they're doing it like it's some kind of game. The humans continued their cheerful banter, completely unfazed by the 100 warships pointing weapons at them. One of their ships started broadcasting what they called hold music, a catchy tune about never giving someone up or letting them down. As the Imperial crew struggled to understand what they were dealing with, more messages flooded their communications. The humans were sharing what they called memes, strange images mocking the Empire's ship designs and dramatic speeches. Several junior officers had to suppress their laughter. Stone stood in stunned silence as his fearsome fleet, the pride of the Empire's navy, was being treated like entertainment by these newcomers. These humans weren't just unafraid. They were actually having fun. The day that was supposed to mark another glorious conquest for the Galactic Empire instead became known as the day humanity made their grand entrance into galactic society. Not with weapons or diplomacy, but with jokes and memes. And this was only the beginning. The Imperial Analysis Center was in chaos. Chief Analyst Brown stared at the data screens, removing his glasses to rub his tired eyes for the 10th time that hour. Nothing about the human ships made sense. Sir, you need to see this, called out Analyst Wilson, waving a stack of reports. The human ships aren't using any known form of propulsion. They're just moving. It's like they're ignoring physics completely. As if to prove his point, the main screen showed Dave's space RV performing what looked like a dance move in space. The ship spun in a perfect spiral, leaving a trail of glowing hearts behind it. The other two human ships were playing what they called space tag, passing through each other like ghosts. Impossible. Brown slammed the reports down. Ships can't pass through solid matter. They can't ignore gravity. They can't. He stopped as he watched one of the human ships turn itself inside out, wave at them with its newly formed appendages, then pop back to normal. Meanwhile, on the Imperial flagship, Admiral Stone was facing his own crisis. The humans had somehow hacked into their communication systems and were raiding every threat the Empire made. "Your pathetic displays of defiance will be crushed," Stone had declared. A scoreboard immediately appeared. Threat level, 4/10. Too cliché. Try something more original. Bonus points for creativity. The humans had also started a live stream they called Hanging Out with an Empire. Gone wrong. Not clickbait. Thousands of alien species across the galaxy were watching and commenting. The Empire's fearsome reputation was crumbling by the minute. "Sir," Captain Reed approached Stone carefully, "the humans are now offering guided tours of our fleet." Indeed, one of the human ships had put up a large holographic sign, Imperial Fleet Tours. See the Empire's overcompensating ships up close. Free coffee and donuts included. The worst part, several Imperial crews had secretly signed up. In the ship labeled Bob's Cosmic Cruiser, the humans were having what they called a space barbecue. They had somehow created an open-air deck on their ship, complete with lawn chairs and a grill. The fact that this completely violated the laws of physics didn't seem to bother them at all. "Hey Empire folks," a human called out over the general channel. "Anyone want a hot dog? We've got plenty. Your ships look pretty stuffy. When was the last time you guys had a good party?" The Imperial Science Division was having a collective breakdown. Dr. Green, their leading physicist, was found curled up in a corner, muttering about conservation of energy and the impossible readings from the human ship's engines, if they could even be called that. Their technology, he whispered to his concerned colleagues, "It's like they took our understanding of science and used it as a suggestion rather than a rule." The humans had started giving their ship's movement styles weird names. "Watch this." One of them called out before their ship performed what they dubbed the Cosmic Cha-Cha. The maneuver would have torn any Imperial ship apart, but the human vessel just grooved through space like it was dancing at a party. Back in the analysis center, Brown received another shocking report. The humans weren't using any known form of shielding, yet their ships were completely invulnerable. Not because they were blocking attacks, but because they were somehow convincing the laws of physics that they simply weren't there when weapons fired at them. "It's like they're running on cartoon logic," Wilson exclaimed, watching as a human ship tied itself into a knot, just to prove it could. As the day progressed, more Imperial officials found themselves struggling with a new and terrifying reality. Everything they knew about space travel, physics, and warfare was being casually disproven by humans who treated the whole thing like a fun weekend outing. And somewhere in the vastness of space, 3 human ships continued their cheerful mockery of the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known, one physics-defying dance move at a time. The Imperial Diplomatic Corps arrived in their most impressive ship, the Golden Authority. It gleamed like a small sun, designed to inspire awe in lesser species. Head Diplomat White had personally selected his finest robes for this crucial first contact meeting. He wasn't prepared for what he found. The humans had somehow created what they called a space plaza between their 3 ships. It was an open area in space with no visible walls or life support systems, yet everyone inside was breathing normally and floating around having what they called a block party. "Welcome to the first annual Space Block Party," a human wearing a party hat and holding a balloon waved at the arriving Imperial diplomats. "I'm Jack. We've got snacks, music, and we're teaching alien species something called the chicken dance." White's eye twitched as he watched several members of different alien species attempt to flap their arms like chickens while laughing hysterically. "This is highly irregular," White announced, trying to maintain his dignity. "We are here to discuss your species' integration into the Empire's hierarchy of—" "Oh, hold that thought." Another human, Tom, interrupted. "The movie's about to start. We're showing Star Wars to our new alien friends. They're loving it." The diplomats watched in horror as a massive screen appeared in space, showing what humans claimed was classic entertainment. It depicted a small group of rebels defeating an evil empire through determination, friendship, and what they called space magic. The implications were not lost on anyone. Meanwhile, the Empire's cultural analysts were having their own crisis. Humans had begun broadcasting their entertainment channels across Imperial frequencies. Shows, movies, music, and something called cat videos were spreading through the Empire faster than they could block them. "Sir," a junior analyst reported to his superior, "we've detected Imperial citizens secretly watching human entertainment. They're particularly fond of something called action movies and sitcoms." In the Imperial Palace itself, a guard caught several high-ranking officials watching a human show called The Office. They claimed they were studying the enemy, but their laughter suggested otherwise. Back at the space party, White tried again to establish proper diplomatic protocol. "The Empire demands your immediate—" "Hey everyone," Jack announced, cutting him off. "Time for karaoke. Who wants to sing Don't Stop Believin'?" To White's absolute dismay, 3 Imperial junior diplomats eagerly raised their hands. The humans had also started sharing their concept of democracy through what they called memes. Simple images with text that explained complex political ideas through humor were circulating throughout the Empire's communication networks. "We can't stop them," an Imperial communications officer reported. "Every time we block one channel, they open 3 more. And, sir, I hate to report this, but their memes are actually quite funny." The situation grew worse when humans introduced something called social media to the galaxy. Suddenly, species that the Empire had kept separated for centuries were connecting, sharing jokes, and discussing ideas. The carefully maintained hierarchy was crumbling under an avalanche of likes, shares, and comments. "Think about it," Tom said to a group of fascinated aliens. "Why let some empire tell you what to do when you could just not? Also, has anyone tried pizza yet? We brought enough for everyone." White watched helplessly as centuries of Imperial protocol were ignored in favor of what humans called hanging out. His carefully prepared speeches about Imperial might were drowned out by laughter and music. The final insult came when he discovered his own diplomatic team taking selfies with the humans and learning something called fist bumps. As the party continued, more ships from various species arrived, drawn by the humans' broadcasts. The Empire's attempt at a formal diplomatic meeting had transformed into the galaxy's biggest party, complete with dance contests, food from Earth, and endless streams of human entertainment. And somewhere in the Imperial Palace, an official was secretly practicing the chicken dance. Commander Black of the Imperial Battle Fleet had enough of this nonsense. After watching the diplomatic disaster and the spread of human influence, he decided to take matters into his own hands. With 50 of the Empire's most powerful warships, he prepared to teach these humans a lesson. "All ships, battle positions," he ordered. "Let's show these jesters the true might of the Empire." The response from Dave's space RV was immediate. "Oh cool, a light show. Hey everyone, the Empire's putting on a performance. Let me get some appropriate music ready." Suddenly, classical music began playing across all channels. Black recognized it as the Blue Danube Waltz from the human entertainment broadcasts that had been circulating. "Fire all weapons," Black commanded, his face red with anger. What happened next would be talked about across the galaxy for centuries. The massive Imperial fleet fired their most powerful weapons, and the human ships casually danced through the barrage like it was choreographed. Dave's space RV spun in perfect time with the music, each blast missing by inches as if it was all planned. "Your rating for this light show is 7/10", announced Bob from his ship. "Good effort, but the timing could be better. Want us to show you how it's done?" Before Black could respond, the humans demonstrated what they called real fireworks. They transformed the energy beams from an Imperial flagship into streams of colorful bubbles. The mighty warship, terror of 1,000 worlds, was now producing heart-shaped soap bubbles in space. "Much better," Jack called out. "Now it's a proper party." The Imperial crews watched in disbelief as their most devastating weapons were turned into harmless light shows. One ship fired its planet-destroying beam, only to have it turn into a rainbow that arched between the human vessels. "Sir," Black's weapons officer reported, "they're not even using shields. They're just moving out of the way. And sometimes they're catching our shots and throwing them back as flower petals." Black's flagship launched its full arsenal of missiles. The humans responded by having their ships play a game they called ping-pong with the missiles, bouncing them back and forth before turning them into space butterflies. "Hey Empire folks," Tom broadcasted cheerfully, "we're giving points for creativity. That last barrage was pretty good, but have you considered adding some spin to those shots? Makes it more fun to dodge." The humans had also started providing commentary on the attack like it was a sports event. "And here comes another wave of devastating weapons. Oh, nice dodge by Dave there. Really showing that RV can move. And, yes, Bob with an excellent spin there, turning that death ray into a disco ball." The crowd goes wild. Indeed, ships from other species had gathered to watch the spectacle. Many were recording it. And soon the footage of the mighty Imperial fleet failing to hit 3 human ships would spread across the galaxy. The final straw came when Dave's space RV pulled out what they called a reverse card. Suddenly, every Imperial weapon fired bubbles and flowers instead of energy beams. Black watched in horror as his fearsome warships sparkled with glitter and rainbow trails. "Don't worry," Jack assured the increasingly frustrated commander. "The effect is temporary. Though I must say, your ships look much friendlier now." After 2 hours of failed attacks, Black ordered a retreat. As his fleet turned to leave, the humans called out one last time. "Great show, everyone. Same time next week. We'll bring snacks." The footage of the Imperial battle fleet, covered in glitter and trailing butterflies, as they fled from 3 human ships playing classical music, became the most watched video in galactic history. And somewhere in the galaxy, a new saying was born: "Never pick a fight with humans. They'll turn it into entertainment." The Empire's worst nightmare wasn't a military defeat, it was laughter. 1 week after the failed attack on the human ships, strange things started happening across Imperial space. On the mining world of Blue Rock, the workers stopped bowing to Imperial officers. Instead, they greeted them with casual waves and asked, "How's it hanging?" A phrase they'd learned from human broadcasts. The officers didn't know how to respond. "This is unacceptable," Governor Gray shouted at his staff. "The lower species are making jokes. They're smiling. Some of them are even wearing these. He held up a colorful piece of clothing. Hawaiian shirts. The rebellion wasn't fought with weapons, but with human culture. Alien species that had feared the Empire for generations were now sharing human memes about overthrowing authority. The most popular one showed an Imperial officer slipping on a banana peel with the caption, "Empire.X has stopped working." In the Imperial Academy, students started questioning everything. "But sir," a young cadet asked his instructor, "why do we have to conquer everyone? The humans seem to make friends instead, and they're having way more fun." The instructor had no answer, especially since he'd been secretly watching human cat videos between classes. On the trade planet Big Market, aliens from different species started hosting what they called democracy practice sessions. They would gather in spaces that looked suspiciously like human coffee shops, drinking something very similar to cappuccinos, and talk about freedom. The humans showed us something amazing, said a shop owner to his customers. You don't need an empire to tell you what to do. You can just decide things together and have snacks while doing it. The Imperial Police tried to stop these meetings but found it impossible. Every time they shut down one coffee shop, 3 more would appear, and now the shops had clever names like Liberty Latte and Freedom Frappe. Even the Empire's fearsome military wasn't immune. After watching videos of the glitter-covered retreat, soldiers started questioning their dramatic uniforms and serious attitudes. Why do we wear black all the time? One trooper asked another. The humans wear comfortable clothes, and they're way more advanced than us. Yesterday, I saw them turn their ships into giant space puppies just for fun. In the Imperial Palace itself, servants reported hearing strange sounds from the royal chambers. Laughter. Someone had introduced the Emperor's children to human cartoons, and now they were asking uncomfortable questions like, why can't people choose their own leaders? And why don't we have weekends? The humans, meanwhile, continued their casual diplomacy. They set up what they called fun embassies, spaces where different species could meet, share stories, and learn about democracy through game nights and movie screenings. Movie night at Dave's Space RV became the most popular event in the galaxy. Every week, thousands of ships would gather to watch human films about freedom, friendship, and standing up to authority. The Empire couldn't stop it because technically it was just a movie night. Underground networks formed to share human culture. Secret handshakes were replaced with high fives. Formal imperial greetings were forgotten in favor of "What's up?" Alien children started playing human games like tag instead of traditional imperial war simulations. The Empire's strict hierarchy crumbled in the face of human informality. How could you maintain an image of terrifying authority when your subjects were asking, "Why so serious?" Another phrase they'd learned from human movies. By the month's end, the Empire faced an unprecedented crisis. Their subjects weren't afraid anymore. They were too busy having fun, making friends, and sharing jokes about imperial regulations. As one alien put it to his friend, the Empire says they'll punish us for laughing at them. The humans say, lol, whatever. I know which side I'm choosing. And across the galaxy, the sound of laughter grew louder. The emergency Imperial Council meeting wasn't going well. For one thing, half the council members were wearing colorful ties, a human fashion that had somehow become popular among high-ranking officials. Order. Order in the council. High Lord Green banged his gavel, then stared at it in horror as it made a squeaking noise and turned into a rubber chicken. Someone had clearly been talking to the humans. "My lords," Admiral Stone spoke up, "our situation is critical. This morning, I found my entire crew doing something called the Mockery. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Reports flooded in from across the Empire. Imperial warships were being painted in bright colors. One captain had renamed his dreaded battle cruiser Fluffy Pancake and installed a water slide. The humans called it improving workplace morale. It gets worse, reported Intelligence Chief Blue, who was trying to hide his keep calm and carry on coffee mug. Our citizens are organizing something called democratic elections for their local governments. They're making it into a party. There are balloons. Security footage showed the impossible. Imperial citizens were happy. Instead of fearfully obeying orders, they were asking questions like, why, and worse, says who. Some were even responding to imperial threats with lol and something called emojis. My own daughter, one council member admitted, looking ashamed, asked me why we don't have ice cream shops in the Imperial Palace. She said the humans told her that all governments should serve the people. He paused. I couldn't explain why that was wrong. The humans had started offering free trade deals that actually benefited both sides. Species that had been enemies for centuries were now doing business together, usually over something called pizza. We must maintain control, High Lord Green declared, then looked confused as his voice came out sounding like a cartoon character. Someone had clearly tampered with the council chamber's audio system. Just then, the giant council chamber screen activated by itself. The humans were broadcasting their weekly galactic variety show, Empire's Got Talent, where imperial citizens performed comedy routines about their own government. "Turn it off," Green ordered, but the tech officials were too busy laughing at a skit about imperial dress codes. The final straw came when they discovered that the Imperial March, their sacred military anthem, had been remixed into something called disco. Worse still, everyone was dancing to it. The humans, Admiral Stone reported grimly, aren't conquering us. They're making us fun. He whispered the last word like it was forbidden. Even the Imperial Academy was in chaos. Students had started a debate club called Why Though, where they questioned everything about imperial rule. Their main argument was, because I said so isn't a valid reason for galactic domination. My lords, a junior officer interrupted the council. You need to see this. The screen showed millions of citizens across the Empire participating in something humans called flash mob. They were all dancing together, laughing, and sharing messages of friendship across species lines. What are their demands? Green asked weakly. They want us to join in, the officer replied. They say everyone's welcome, even grumpy old Imperials. The council watched in horror as their carefully built system of fear and control crumbled before the most powerful force in the universe. People having a good time together. Perhaps, suggested one council member, wearing a question authority pin he tried to hide, we should consider some changes. As if to emphasize his point, the Imperial anthem playing in the chamber suddenly switched to something called Don't Worry, Be Happy. And somewhere in the galaxy, 3 human ships continued their party, now attended by half the Imperial fleet. The day the Empire officially ended didn't come with a bang, but with a party. The massive Imperial Palace, once a symbol of fear and power, had been transformed. Colorful banners hung from its dark towers, and the sound of laughter echoed through halls that once held only whispered fears. Welcome to the first Galactic Community Festival, announced Dave, the owner of the famous space RV that had started it all. He stood on a stage where the Emperor's throne once sat, wearing his signature Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops. The former Imperial Council members sat in the front row. Most of them finally relaxed after centuries of maintaining serious faces. High Lord Green, now just called Bob Green, had traded his formal robes for comfortable clothes and was enjoying something called a hot dog. Who would have thought, he said to Admiral Stone, who was wearing a Galaxy's OKest Admiral t-shirt, that the Empire would end because we learned how to have fun. The changes were everywhere. The Imperial Palace's dungeons had been turned into an arcade and food court. The former torture chambers were now karaoke rooms. The Imperial Guard had transformed into tour guides, showing visitors around with actual smiles on their faces. And here, one guide explained to a group of tourists, is where we used to plan galaxy-wide domination. Now it's a pizza place. Much better use of the space, if you ask me. The humans had introduced something they called Casual Fridays, but everyone liked it so much that it became casual every day. Even the most serious Imperial officials had to admit that comfortable clothes were better than stiff uniforms. The former Emperor himself, now the elected chairman of the Galactic Community Council, had become famous for his collection of funny t-shirts. His favorite read, Former Galactic Tyrant, now available for parties. Looking back, he told a reporter, ruling through fear was exhausting. Do you know how tiring it is to be angry all the time? Now I can laugh at jokes, eat ice cream, and still help govern. Just with more voting and less evil laughing. The 3 human ships that had started everything were now historical landmarks. Dave's space RV had been turned into a floating museum, though it still hosted weekly parties. Bob's ship ran a traveling comedy club, and Jack's vessel became the galaxy's first mobile democratic education center, complete with a water slide. Species that the Empire had kept apart for centuries now worked and played together. The yearly Galactic Culture Festival became famous for its food courts, where you could taste dishes from 1,000 worlds while watching stand-up comedy in multiple languages. Turns out, Tom explained during the festival's opening ceremony, that it's hard to hate someone when you're sharing a laugh and a pizza with them. The Imperial Academy became the Galactic Community College, where students learned about democracy through practical lessons like how to organize a fun protest and making political change through memes 101. Even the fearsome Imperial warships found new purpose. Their crews discovered that the ships made excellent venues for intergalactic rock concerts. The same engines that once powered planet-destroying weapons now ran like shows for space raids. The final symbol of change came when the last Imperial flag was taken down. In its place rose a new banner showing different species' hands joined in a circle, with the words "Together in Freedom" and "Fun" written below. You know what the best part is? Dave said during the closing ceremony. We didn't need a single weapon. All it took was showing people that life's better when you're free to laugh, love, and share silly memes about your government. As the celebration continued, with former enemies dancing together under the stars, a small plaque was unveiled in the palace's main hall. It read, "Here lies the Galactic Empire, cause of death. Learn to laugh." And somewhere in the galaxy, 3 human ships prepared for their next adventure, ready to spread joy to whatever serious civilization they found next. The end.